Hello everybody. Hello, my name is Wilson-Felis, and this will be an hour-long video that will be for all levels. But today we have the focus of something in yoga that we call Metta. It's spelled M-E-T-T-A. And what Metta means is loving kindness. And so we're going to do a little visualization, a meditation if you will, to begin our practice today. And then we'll start to move our body a little bit. So any mudra that you would like to do is fine. So if it makes you feel good to, connect your thumb to your index finger, you can do that. If it makes you feel good to bring your hands together or come into a lotus mudra with the 3 middle fingers extended, you can do that as well. So today I'm going to come to the chin mudra with the thumb and index connected. I'm making a little circle with my hands and the 3 middle ring and pinky finger are extended. And so let's start to just lower our gaze down. Maybe you find a spot on the floor to stare at. Maybe you close your eyes all the way. It's up to you. And we'll start to just find a comfortable seat. So if how you're sitting is not feeling good for your ankles or not feeling good for your knees or your back, then find something that does work good for you. So if you're like me and you have a wall behind you or you have a chair close by, you could lean up against that wall to hold yourself. If you're working on building core strength, it's a good idea to just hold yourself in that seated position, but make sure that you're somewhat comfortable. And you could even lay down if you want to. So again, we'll just kind of soften our gaze and start to close the windows of our eyes. And just find a focus point if it's uncomfortable to close your eyes. And we're just going to breathe normally, breathe naturally, but take note of the quality of your breath. Are your breaths shallow and short today? Or do you have some length to your breath? Do you naturally elongate your inhales and exhales? Sometimes it kind of depends on the situation that we're in because our breath is so impacted by our environment around us. So we're going to start with the micro. So we're going to work from the micro to the macro. We're going to start with you, with me, with I. So think about something that you need, that you desire, something that you would like to obtain from your yoga practice, a dedication or an intention, if you will. And sometimes I will phrase it to myself almost like a journaling prompt, where later I could go and journal on this. So maybe that journal prompt is something I long for in my yoga practice is, something I long for in my life is. And for me, something that I long for is to keep a slow pace in my life and to not get too busy, not overwork. So think about something in your life that you long for, that you desire, that you need to make you feel more supported within your life, within your practice. Maybe it comes in the form of a prayer. We're going to extend that thinking outward. So within your house, within your neighborhood, maybe. So if you're outside, maybe it's your yard. And if you're inside your house, maybe it's your house. Maybe it's the people within the house and the animals, the pets within that house or within that yard. creating almost like a protective bubble around your space with your belongings, your loved ones. And extend that prayer out to the people who are closest to you. We're going to extend that prayer a little bit further outward. And we're going to think about someone in our life, a really close friend or a family member who really needs a prayer right now. Say a prayer for a close friend, a close family member. We're going to start extending that prayer even further outward. So let's start thinking about the community. The entire community, your community, no matter where you are in the world. Maybe it's your town, maybe it's your county. And we'll start to extend that loving kindness, that prayer for positivity outward to your state, your providence, all the states and providences of your country. Start to visualize the globe and surround the globe with loving kindness. All of the continents, all of the countries, all of the oceans. And visualize the globe, the entire planet. And visualize it surrounded with loving kindness. And what does loving kindness look like to you? Is it a prayer? Is it written word? Is it shiny gold sparkles? What do you envision when you envision the entire world being surrounded with loving kindness, with Metta? Now let's take a unified breath here together. So as you inhale, take a long, deep inhale through your nose, fill up your belly, your lungs, open your mouth. Sigh it out, let it go. Let's do that 2 more times, inhaling deep. Hold it at the top for a moment and exhale it out. Let's do that 1 more time. Now let's zoom back into you on your mat right now, in your house, in your room, wherever you might be. And let's start to move our body a little bit. So let's start by just doing a seated cat and cow. We're going to start with cat. So let's just round our back. I've let go of my mudra. I'm hanging onto my knees and just sagging my back towards the back wall. And let's take a big inhale and just lean forward and squeeze your shoulder blades back. And we'll stay here for a breath or 2, just holding that pose, feeling your low back lengthening. And let's switch it up. So the arms lengthen, the spine sags back behind us. With your next inhale, bring your chest forward. With your next exhale, round your back. So let's just keep going like that for a couple more breaths, just warming up the hips, warming up the back. Beautiful. Come on back to center. I'll face towards the camera here. If you need to switch your legs, please do. I can sit like this for a while, so always feel free to adjust your own body. We're going to drop our right hand down. Left hand sweeps up towards the sky, over your head, and we'll start to soften our right elbow so that you can feel the stretch in that left side body. So if it hurts and you're like, oh, bring yourself back a little bit so that there's no pain. And let's take 1 more breath there. Inhale and fan your way back up to center. Drop your left hand. And let's take 3 or 4 breaths with the right hand reaching this time. Left hand is just grounded, elbow softened so that there's no crunching of the shoulder into the ear. One more breath. Inhale, bring yourself back up to center. Nice. So if your legs are crisscrossed like mine, great. If they're not, then do your best to get to that position, even if it looks like this. Even if you're not quite at the flexibility that I am yet. That's the thing, is yet. You're going to get there. Just keep practicing. So even if your legs look like this, we're going to come to this position. And we're going to bring our hands in front. And just start to walk your hands forward. So it might look like this. It's okay. We are where we are in our body. We want to start to feel the stretch in our hips, in our thighs. Some people, don't go very far in this pose. They're very tight in the hips. And some people can just kind of roll over top their legs. So you got to find the right spot for you in the pose. Keep that in mind. We'll take a couple breaths. Nice work, everybody. Come on back up to center. All we're going to do is switch our legs. So I've got my left leg in front right now. I'm going to lean back, switch my leg so that my right leg is in front, and do the exact same thing. Hands come forward. Start to walk them forward. Tune into this hip or whichever hip you have in front, and start to edge into that sensation. So again, this side's different. You might not feel the same stretch that you did on the other side. Perhaps it's a different sort of sensation. Find a nice long deep breath. Maybe come back to that intention of what it is that you long for, what it is that you need from your practice, from your life. Last breath here. When you inhale, start to walk your hands back towards your body, coming back up to center. Grab onto your knees, and we're going to round our spine back. We're going to start to lean out. I'm going to the left first. And then I'm going to start to roll my chest forward, and then out to the right. I'm hanging onto my knees as I come back into that cat pose, leaning out to the left, starting to roll the chest, the torso forward, out to the right, and rounding back into cat. We'll do it one more time in this direction, left. We're going into cow, seated cow pose, to the right and to cat, and then if you need to, switch your legs so that the other leg's in front again, the left leg, and we'll go the other direction. To the right, we're going into cow pose, seated cow, to the left. Hang on to your knees as you go into cat. Edge into the right side, and we'll just start going in this direction about 2 or 3 more times. If you find a sweet spot, you can always kind of like stop there and stretch it out a little bit. And we'll make our way back up to center. Beautiful work, everybody. Let's lengthen our legs out here a little bit so we can give our legs a break. I'm going to sit this way so you don't have to look at my feet. We do want our feet to be separated, so I like to keep a block at the bottom of my yoga mat so that I have a nice little guide to how wide my feet should be. I'm going to try to sit up as tall as I can. So at first I felt very rounded. I felt like I could just lay back there. And so I want to start to stick my sits bones down into this blanket and feel the spine lift up, reaching up to the sky with the top of my head, the crown. And let's sweep the hands up in that direction too. Inhale. And we'll start to reach towards our toes, reach towards your ankles, reach towards your shins, wherever it is that you land in your pose today. And we're just going to breathe here. Just hang out and let your legs stretch out. Gotta let our muscles lengthen and become used to our stretching before we start moving a little bit faster. Last breath here. We're going to cross one hand over to the opposite foot. It's really up to you which side you do first. I'm taking my right hand over to my left foot. And then my left hand is going to sweep back towards the back wall in the opposite direction. So I'm trying to square my shoulders here out to the left. One more breath here in that pose. Exhale and cross the other side. So left hand to the right foot or right ankle, right shin, wherever you are. And the right hand will sweep all the way back. So we're trying to square our shoulders now out towards the right. If you look down at your feet, it will appear as though your left foot or leg is longer. Nice job. Last breath here. Let's come on back to center, uncrossing the arms and rolling back up. All right, and finally here we are going to be moving into some hip stretches. So let's do the right leg first. We'll bend our right knee, cross it over top our left leg. If you're a bit more advanced in your practice, you could always try to curl that left leg underneath your body, coming into kind of like a pretzel leg pose. So that's up to you. Wherever you are with your left leg, whether it's straight or bent underneath, that doesn't matter. We're going to pull our right knee into our chest. And right now I feel my shoulders have lots of tension, so I'm going to release those shoulders down. Feel the crown of my head lifting, and I can really feel that stretch in my right hip, my right glute. Now we want to wait here until it subsides. So let's take a couple more breaths. For some of us, it's not going to subside very much. We might have very tight hips. So we're going to work on that. We're going to work on opening those hips up. So remember, the pose could also look like this, with the left leg straight. Alright, so from here let's start to open up the angle of our right knee. So grab onto your right foot with your left hand and start to open up the angle so that now your right knee is in the shape of a right angle, a 90-degree angle. Some of you have long arms like me and can kind of wrap your foot, put your foot into the eye of your elbow and rock the leg around a little bit, and that might just bring some different kind of stretch into that right hip. So we're just exploring here, and you might like the first option that I gave better, so you can always go back to that. Yep, one day we might be able to just put that foot behind our neck. Alright, let's go into a twist from here. So we'll put our right foot down on the outside of our left thigh. So again, it could look like this, or you could have that left leg straight out. No matter where you are, hang on, grab on to that right leg with your left arm, left hand. And we're going to take our right hand and bring it to the ground, to the mat behind us. Start to twist to the right. If you want to go further in that pose, then you can take this left arm and swing it up to the sky and hook the elbow, the forearm, or the wrist on the outside of that right knee. And then give it a little nudge. You're going to press, create tension there. And when you create that tension, you're going to bring a twist into your spine. Now if you'd like, you can always lift your hands and bring the hands together into a prayer twist. And so that's a really nice little balancing posture to just calm, take a breath, stop there, and allow all the sensations of your body to be recognized. Let's unwind here. Come back to center. Take the right hand over to the left and give yourself a little twist to the left, a counter twist. We're going to take our legs and unwind them. So you could unwind your right leg, your left leg, wiggle them out a little bit, do some window wipers. And then of course what we do on one side we have to do on the other. So with a straight right leg, let's bend our left knee, cross it over top that right leg and give it a nice hug into the chest. Now remember, you could take this right foot, right leg, lean back and try bending the knee. Now if that hurts your knee, hurts that right hip at all, it's just not worth coming into this pretzel pose. You can keep your right leg straight. No matter where you are, let's stretch out that left hip just by pulling that knee into your chest. You can try different angles. You can rock the leg around a little bit and see what you can find as far as sensation is concerned. I'm going to move into the seated pigeon where I grab onto my left foot with my right hand. I might even put the foot, the sole of my foot, into the bend of my right elbow and create a little leg baby position. So again, you have to kind of find the right angle. Like there I feel a good stretch, but just half an inch down I don't. So exploring that hip a little bit, we'll just start to open things up. It's been about 2 more breaths, just playing around, finding some stretch in the hip. And then we're going to move into a twist. So bring your left foot down. It might hover on the outside of your right leg. It might be able to ground there. You might use a yoga block under your foot too. Hug onto your left leg with your right arm. And hold yourself there in that position with your left hand behind you as a little kickstand. This is the perfect posture. If you'd like to go further into the posture, then you can take this right arm, swing it up, hook it on the outside of your left thigh. And then give it a little nudge. Elbow or forearm, wrist into that side of the leg. And find a spot that feels good. If you can hold it there, maybe your hands can lift and come together into a prayer posture. We'll take a moment to just pause in whichever position you're in. Take a breath. Remind yourself of that Metta meditation. Let's unwind here. Come back to center just for a moment. Let your spine kind of recognize what you're doing. We'll take the left hand over to the right. Give ourselves a little counter twist over to the right. Alright, let's unwind these legs. Nice. Good job, everybody. Window wipers. Alright, let's get moving. Let's get moving this day. So come on up to hands and knees. Arrange any pillows, any blankets for cushion that you might need. Grab a sip of water if you have some close by. Starting to warm up in here. So I'm going to take my jacket off finally. Here in Colorado it is starting to cool down a little bit. I even saw some yellowing aspen leaves today. So let's ground our hands here. We'll start to make some changes in our body to start to match the changes of the season. So a couple cats and cows at your own pace here, just raising the spine up to the sky like a mad cat. Dropping the belly through with lengthened elbows, lifting tailbone for a cow pose. You can just work through those postures at your own pace. Some people like to link them with breath. And some people just like to move their spine. So feel free to move in all directions. Great work. Come on back to center. We are going to do an active cat routine. So I'm going to start with the right leg. I'm going to just lift my right leg up to the sky. Your knee can be bent. Your leg can be straight. That's up to you. Inhale here. Exhale and try to tap your right elbow with your right knee. And then we'll lift it back up. Inhale. Exhale and tap. Inhale, lift. Exhale, tap. Last time, inhale, lift it up. exhale, tap. Drop that knee down. Let's try it on the left. Left leg is going to lift up to the sky. Active cat. Exhale. Tap your elbow with your knee. Inhale, lift it up. Exhale, tap. Nice. I'm doing 5 on each side. So, got 3 more. That's 3, 2, and 1. We'll drop that knee down. Let's lift our hands up off the ground. Take some weight off the hands. Maybe shake them out a little bit. Roll them out. We're going to move into a lunge on each side. So take your right foot. Try to balance out here. If you need a block close by, then you could always use that block as a little stand for yourself. And we're going to lunge our right foot forward. Some people like to put the block down on the inside of their right foot to hold their hand. So if you need that block, it's right there. So hands can start on the floor here. And we're just going to start to look forward, whether it be at the camera or just the space in front of you. You want to feel your stretch in your left hip flexor, the groin of your left leg. So if you're not feeling that, what you can do is take your left toes, that's your straight back leg, tuck your toes, lift your knee back about 1/2 inch. And you might do that another time if you need to until you start to feel it. I feel it. Let's raise up from here. The hands are going to come up to the top of the right knee. The hands are going to come up to the heart next. Now remember, you can stop at any point. So if you're like, oh my gosh, the knee was really hard, maybe you stop there. And finally, if you need the full extension, the arms can raise up to the sky, all the way lifted. If you still need more stretch, lunge a little deeper. Send all of your energy forward into that right knee. All right. So we're going to keep our left hand reaching up. Right hand, that's the same as the bent knee that's forward. We're going to let that right arm slide down, reach it back. My hand's back behind me. I'm reaching it for my left thigh. Right hand, left thigh. Left hand, reach up to the sky and look upward. Oh my gosh, such a big stretch in that left hip flexor, left side of the belly. One more breath. Windmill it down. So it's going to be left hand to the floor, sweep your right hand forward, past your head, up to the sky and open the chest. Beautiful work. Bring that right hand down on the inside of your right leg and swing that right leg back to hands and knees. We're going to take a break right here in the middle so that you can feel the difference between your hips. So let's come into a tabletop, come into a child's pose or a puppy pose. So child's pose is hips on heels. Even if you can't get your hips all the way on your heels, get as close as you can, and then start to walk your hands forward. Try to let your forehead rest on the ground. If it's not yet at the ground, you might have your yoga block close by, so you can rest your forehead on your yoga block. And from here, we'll continue and do the other side. So come on up to tabletop. Come on up to a kneeling position. So hands are up off the ground. This time we're going to take our left leg and step it forward. Bring the hands down on either side of that left foot and just start to look forward. If you're not feeling anything on the right groin, right hip flexor, then you might need to scoot your right knee back. I feel it there. Just 1/2 inch more, and that's enough for me. Now let's rise up. So you could rise up to blocks. You could rise up to the hands stacked on the left knee. I like to gaze straight out in front of me and find a point to gaze at. That's called a drishti, a focal point. From there, the hands could lift to the heart if you're feeling nice and sturdy. Cinch the waistband, knit those lower ribs, and maybe even lift your hands up to the sky. If you still need more stretch, you could lunge a little deeper, sending the energy forward through your left knee. Keep your right hand reaching up to the sky. Let your left hand sweep straight forward, past your knee and down. So now, left hand is on the right inner thigh. Right hand reaches up to the sky, and you might even try to look in that direction. It's a big side body stretch. Let's windmill down so that right hand comes to the floor, left hand sweeps in front and up to the sky to open the chest. Beautiful. So right hand is grounded, left hand is reaching up at the sky, at the ceiling. Last breath here. Exhale, bring your hand down to the inside of your left knee and swing that left leg around, hands and knees. Let's take a child's pose for 3 to 5 breaths. Now that the hips are a little bit more even here, feels really nice. Start to breathe deeper. Again, if your forehead doesn't quite reach the floor, get your block involved. Maybe you stack your hands instead. Great work, everybody. With an inhale, roll yourself up to tabletop. Move any props out of the way. We'll tuck our toes and start to roll up off of our knees into a downward facing dog. Pedal out your heels here, stretch out your calves. Since we've warmed up our hips really nice here, let's send our right foot up to the sky for a tripod downward dog. Bend your knee out to the side, and we're going to draw some big circles with that right knee. So I'm lifting my knee out to the side, and then I'm dropping it into my inner left thigh, letting it come towards my chest, and then lifting it out. Just imagine your right kneecap is drawing big circles, and go 3 times in each direction. Nice work. Drop that right foot down. Let's try 3 on the left side, maybe internal rotations. And then 3 external. And we'll drop our left foot down. Look towards your hands, start to walk forward. Walk your hands back to your feet and come into a nice forward fold. So I walked over my blanket. I walked forward over the blanket so that I'm in front of the blanket. So I like to keep the blanket there for kneeling positions. I'm here in a forward fold. Soften your knees so that it's like you're sitting in a chair. We're going to take our hands and reach the hands forward, still sitting in a chair. Reach your hands up, still sitting in that chair. One more breath. With your next inhale, press through your feet and rise all the way up. Hands to your heart center. Let your hands, your arms relax. We're going to do a modified version of a moon salutation. So there will be some kneeling going on. So let's inhale here, hands together. Exhale, hands to your sides. Inhale, sweep your hands up overhead. Any direction is good. We're going to sit into that chair. Look down, make sure your feet are not touching, your knees are not touching. Your knees are going forward towards your toes. Look straight ahead. One more breath. Exhale, fold over top, your bent knees reaching towards the floor. Nice. So my feet are on the floor. We're going to send our right foot back. So I'm going to go into a warrior 3 with my hands on the floor. Right foot sent back in the air. Eventually, we can drop that right foot down to the ground. With your heel lifted, and then we're going to drop our right knee onto that blanket or onto your yoga mat. And we're going to lift up into your favorite position. It could be your knee, your heart, up overhead. Inhale here. And as you exhale, lunge a little deeper through your left knee. Inhale. Exhale, lunge a little deeper. Last time. Exhale, float your hands down. Frame your left foot. Right hand grounds into the mat. Left hand sweeps up to the sky so that you're facing out to the left towards your bent front knee. The left knee. One more breath here. Exhale, the hands come down. We're going to activate the back leg. Tuck your toe, your right toe. Lift your right knee, and we're going to try to step our left foot back to downward facing dog. Pedal that out. Press your heels down one at a time. Great work, everybody. I'm going to start with the very modified beginner vinyasa. So we're going to drop down to hands and knees. Untuck your toes. You're in tabletop now. From tabletop, we're going to take our weight and send it forward. Arms stay straight. Let your hips just drop down. Look forward, maybe even look up. There's lots of pressure on my wrists. I'm in upward dog. Yeah, exactly. So from there, all I'm going to do is push back into my hips, back into tabletop. Tuck the toes, roll up to downward facing dog. Send your right leg up to the sky. Look forward and step your right foot forward and your left foot forward, right foot, left foot, right foot, left foot, all the way forward in front of your blanket. Let's lift to our knees, lift to our shins, and flatten our back out. One more breath. And then exhale, bend through the knees. Let your head go. Shake it no, shake it yes. Sweep your arms out to the side. Reverse swan dive all the way up to the sky. Hands touch overhead. Exhale to heart center. Other side. Inhale here. Exhale, hands to the sides of your body. Inhale, sweep your hands all the way up overhead. Exhale, sit into a chair. Invisible chair. Look down. Make sure your toes are all facing forward. They're not touching, so your big toes aren't touching. Your knees aren't touching. Your knees are going straight forward past or towards your toes. Then we'll look forward. One more breath. Exhale, fold over your legs. Touch the ground, use a block if you have it close by, and we're going to lift our left leg up into the air behind us, sending it back. It's an assisted warrior 3. You can always challenge yourself to lift your hands. We're going to drop our left toes towards the back end of our mat with our heel lifted. Drop your left knee onto your mat. Untuck your toes. And find your position. Could be fingers on the floor, hands on your knee, hands together at the heart, or lifted up overhead. Inhale wherever you are. Exhale, lunge a little deeper. Another breath. Lunge a little deeper. Last breath. As you exhale, float your hands down to the floor to frame your right foot. Left hand into the mat, right hand sweeps all the way up to the sky. So we're rotating our chest out to the right. Last breath here. Inhale. Exhale, drop your hand down, frame your foot. Tuck your back left toe. Lift your back left knee. And we're going to send our right foot back to downward facing dog. I'm going to advance the vinyasa just a little bit. So we're in downward dog. Let's drop down to hands and knees. Untuck your toes. We're going to try our best to lower ourselves slowly, as slowly as you can, onto our belly. Elbows don't want to wing out. We want them to tip back. So let's try that. Just lower yourself towards the floor as best as you can. Look forward. Press the tops of your feet into the mat. That's Sphinx. You can go higher into Cobra if you want to. Inhale wherever your heart lift is. Exhale, lower back down. Tuck the toes. Roll back to hands and knees. Make any adjustments, and let's roll up to downward facing dog. Look back towards your toes, back towards your ankles. Stretch it out a couple times, pedaling your heels out, wagging your tail. Reach your left leg all the way up towards the sky, as high as you can. And then step that left foot forward, maybe on your blanket. Then the right foot forward, left foot forward, right foot forward, so that you're just walking forward here into a forward fold. Let your head go. Let your arms go. Inhale and lift halfway, flatten your back, drop your shoulders away from your ears so that it's like your spine is elongating from your tailbone to the top of your head. Last breath. Exhale, forward fold, bend your knees. Reverse swan dive. Sweep your arms out in any direction and let them carry you all the way up to standing. Exhale to the heart center. Ground through your feet, palms together, shoulders down away from your ears. Crown, really lifting up to the sky. All right, we've got 2 more of those. We'll speed them up a little bit and we're going to stay tall. We're going to stay lifted, so we're not going to be kneeling down anymore. So if you want to, you can keep your blanket there for reference so that you can step behind your blanket. So, inhale here. Exhale, hands to your sides. Inhale, up overhead. Come into Utkatasana, chair position, fierce position. Like you're sitting in an invisible chair. Look down, check your toes, check your knees, look straight forward, take another breath. Exhale, sit a little deeper. Inhale, lengthen all the way up like you're reaching for the sky, and fold forward. Maybe you have straight legs, maybe your knees are a little bit soft, reaching for the floor. Ground through your left foot. Send your right foot up into the air so that you're in an assisted warrior 3. Bend your standing front left knee and drop your right toes onto the floor with your heel lifted. Sweep your arms up to your knee, up to your heart, up to the sky if you'd like. These are all just options, so if you're feeling a little unbalanced today, maybe you keep your hands on your knee. Your choice. Find something to balance, something to focus on. Inhale. And as you exhale, deepen the stretch by sending the energy forward through your left knee. One more breath. We're going to do that same thing we did kneeling earlier. So keep your right hand reaching up to the sky. Left hand, we're going to sweep it down towards our hip, towards our right inner thigh. Left hand, right inner thigh. Right hand reaching up to the sky. Stretch in opposite directions. Lunge a little deeper through that left knee maybe. Beautiful. Windmill forward. Right hand comes down, left hand comes up. Nice. Made that look easy. One more breath here. Swing that left hand down to the floor by the left foot and send your left foot back to downward facing dog. You can stay with those beginner variations by coming to tabletop first. I'm going to be advancing the vinyasa. So I look from my toes to my hands, roll up to my tippy toes, and send that weight forward over the hands into plank position. Inhale here. Exhale, bend your elbows, and then drop to your knees and lower yourself all the way onto your belly. Look forward, Sphinx. Squeeze the elbows into your ribs. You could get higher by pressing into Cobra or lengthening the elbows into an up dog. Exhale, lower back down. Tuck the toes under. Lift up to hands and knees. Lift the knees, plank. Hinge the hips, downward dog. Reach your right leg up to the sky. Inhale. Exhale, swing it forward. Step your left foot forward too. We're coming to forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Reverse swan dive. Sweep your arms out, press through your feet, and come all the way up. Exhale to heart center. Last time. Left leg, inhale here. Exhale, Tadasana, hands by the sides. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana, reaching up for the ceiling, for the sky. We're coming into Utkatasana, bending through our knees, sitting in an invisible chair. We'll take 2 more breaths here. And then we'll exhale and forward fold over the legs. Right foot grounded into the floor, left foot swings back up into the air. Assisted, warrior 3, bend your right knee. Step your left foot all the way back so that your heel is lifted up. And we're finding our way up to the knee, to the heart. Whoop, almost lost some balance. And maybe your hands can sweep up to the sky if you're feeling nice and sturdy today. Beautiful. One more breath just in that pose, in that lunge. Left hand stays reaching up for the sky. So keep your left hand where it is. Right hand's going to swing forward, down past the right leg. For your left inner thigh. Left hand reaches up for the ceiling, so we're stretching it opposite directions, really feeling that in the left hip flexor. One more breath. Exhale, swing the left hand down, swing the right hand up. Bending into that right knee. Beautiful. Go ahead and drop that right hand down. Swing or step the right foot back for downward facing dog. Here's our last, most advanced vinyasa. Look from toes to hands. Roll forward to plank. Lower yourself down, chaturanga. Heart lift of your choice. Sphinx, cobra, or up dog. From here, I lift my knees in that up dog. Roll over my toes to downward dog. Left leg reaches up for the sky. And step forward. Then right foot, then left foot. Back to a forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway, flatten your back. Exhale, forward fold. Reverse swan dive, sweep the arms out. Press through the feet, hinge on up to standing, reach all the way up for the sky. And exhale to heart center. Reach your arms straight out in front of you, like your hands are on like a countertop or a nice, I don't know, some surface in front of you to hold you there, a railing. And we're going to try to roll up onto our toes. Nice, it's hard. Squeeze your inner thighs together, that helps. So that's called a toe stand. Let's drop back down to grounded feet and try it again. Roll up to your toes. Bend through your knees. Not everyone will be able to bend all the way. So keep bending until you can get your hands down to the ground. If you want to, you can keep your heels lifted there and continue to try to balance on your toes. It's a good balance trick. Keep practicing. Let's drop our hands down. And we're going to come to seated. Nice work, everybody. So let's take a couple moments to just sit. If you prefer to end your practice laying down, please do that. So we've got about 5 minutes left to just let our bodies cool down, let our bodies settle down. So Shavasana is great. A meditative pose is wonderful too. It's really, really your choice here. So if there's any last movements you'd like to add, maybe laying down on the floor, supine, spinal twists, you can add that. But for me, I'm just going to end my practice seated after that very vigorous practice so that I can feel all the blood pumping through my body. And I'd like for each of you, no matter what it is that you're doing right now, if you're moving your body, if you're finding stillness, repeat these words. You can repeat it back verbally, you can repeat it back mindfully within yourself. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be free from suffering. May I be well. May I be at peace. May I be joyful. May I awaken to the light of my true nature. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be free from suffering. May you be well. May you be at peace. May you be joyful. And may you awaken to the light of your true nature. May all beings be filled with loving kindness. May all beings be free from suffering. May all beings be well. May all beings be at peace. May all beings be joyful. May all beings awaken to the light of their true nature. Surround the world with loving kindness, with metta. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you. I bow to each of you for rolling out your mat, for being in your body, for allowing me to be your guide. Namaste.